needs to watch it again, they can. Okay. Number 20, the equations are, oh, this one's not bad at all. X minus 5y is 2, and 2x plus y is 4. Okay. All right, I'm going to get a bigger font here. Are either of these already, are the numbers out the same in front of either the x's or the y's? No. We're going to have to do something. I would choose the y's here because you've already got a minus and a plus there, so you wouldn't have to mess with changing the signs on anything, and that's always kind of a good thing. So why don't we get rid of the y's in this example? I'm going to choose to get rid of the y's just because I've already got the plus or minus there, so that's a little less work I have to do. It's not that much of a difference, but it helps a little. Now, if I'm getting rid of the y's, I have a minus 5y here. I would like to have a plus 5y here. So what would I multiply the bottom by? 5. That would give it to me, right? Good. And we got to remember, I'm going to rewrite the equations now, because I'm going to add them together, so I always want to kind of keep them together. That way the adding is a little easier. I got to remember that every single term gets multiplied by 5, not just the y's, and that's another thing people forget to do. So 5 times 2x would give me 10x. 5 times y, ooh, there's the plus 5y I wanted. And 5 times 4 is 20. So when you do that, abracadabra, the y's go away, right? You made it happen when you multiplied through that bottom one by 5. If those add up to 0, what equation am I going to get right under there? Yeah, 11x is 22. And that's not hard, is it? That's what I like about these. They end up with these really short equations. By the way, that would be a direct variation equation, wouldn't it? If your y was 22 or something. Okay, if I'm trying to get x by itself, divide by 11, right? And what's x? 2. Okay, so we got one of the two. I need the x, I need the y. X is 2. So find y. You just pick the one you want to mess with is basically all it boils down to. Oh, look what's going to happen. When you plug x is 2 in, you don't even have to finish this out to see what the answer is going to be. 4 plus what's 4? 0. Y is 0. We don't even have to do all that math. We can actually see it pretty easily. And you're done. So if you're following me, you don't have to, but if you're following me, if you look at 11, we almost have what we want, right?
Is that a Q?
It's a Q, We almost have what we want there. We have 18Q and 18Q, but the problem is they're both negative 18Qs. So instead of both being positive, now they're both negative. So I need to make one a positive 18Q. How do I do that? Yeah, I can multiply by -1, I can divide by -1, or I can change all the signs of one of the equations. Now, wouldn't it be really easy to change all the signs on that last equation there? I could write them out again, but if I change all the signs on that last equation, wouldn't everything just become positive? That's like multiplying or dividing by -1. That looks a lot better, and it didn't take me too much work to do that, did it? So if you can kind of remember that doing that multiplication or division results in changing every single sign, you can save yourself a little time and just, change them all. And now all you got to do is add them together, right? What's 12p and 15p? 27p, thank you. And these add up to 0. Oh, this is not going to be nice. 14 and 4, did I copy that right? I did. 14 and 4 is 18. Okay, so this is going to have a fraction as an answer, but that's okay. We can handle it. I'm kind of glad I picked it, just so y'all don't think something's wrong if you get a fraction. Most of them are whole numbers. Every once in a while you get a fraction. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by 27 to get the p by itself. Right? What divides into both 18 and 27? 9, so that would be what? 2 over 3 when you reduce it. 9 goes into 18 twice, it goes into 27 3 times. So p is 2/3. Now when I go to write my answer, I got two variables, p and q, so I put them in alphabetical order. That's just the rule of thumb, unless you're told differently. You know, you could be told your independent variable is q and your dependent variable is p, and you might have to do some things, but just normally in our world, we just put them in alphabetical order. P is 2/3, so I'm going to stick it in right here. I need to find Q. Joy, I get to plug a fraction in. Okay, so let's see. Y'all want the top one or the bottom one? Or the bottom one revised? Okay, so the bottom one revised would be a positive 15P plus a positive 18Q is a positive 4. So that's what I'm going to write down, 15P plus 18Q equal 4. And I know that P is 2/3. Here's the good news. At least we're not going to be subtracting too many. That 4 is not going to fit in there very well. At least that fraction reduces. 3 goes into 3 one time. Remember 15, you could put it over 1. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So 5 times 2 on top is 10, and on the bottom you just have 1 times 1. So isn't that just 10 over 1? 10. So 10 plus 18Q is 4. What do I do first? Those of you who are following. If I want to get Q by itself, subtract 10. Thank you. Subtract 10. So 18Q is what, negative 6? And if you divide both sides by 18, you'd have Q is negative 6 over 18. I'm just going to write it that way because I'm so out of room. I'll come over here. Q is negative 6 over 18. That's what you can't read at the bottom of that screen over there at the right. And that reduces, right? What's 6 over 18 if you reduce it? Negative 1/3, right? Because you say 6 goes into 6 one time. It's negative. 6 goes into 18 3 times. So Q is negative 1/3. I'll write it up here so it's easy to tell.